Hey everyone, Autumn Leaf here, and we are going to make zucchini bread. But before I start on that, I just want to show you.
This is actually really early.
Today is like June 25th, something like that. So this is pretty early to be getting some really good stuff, so I'm excited. So we've got some cabbage. And I just got all this stuff this morning. And yes, it looks like a rabbit got into it. So it definitely was needing to be picked. And we have some radishes. I'm going to set these in the sink. Squash. Yellow squash is one of my absolute favorite things to get out of the garden because I like to fry it up, and yes, I'm going to do a video on that too. I could just eat a skillet full of fried squash. I really could. We have a lovely onion, and we have 2 little cucumbers. And then, of course, while we're going to make some bread today, we have the zucchini. And these, oh my gosh, I really wish I could remember when I planted these. I did plant them from a plant versus a seed, but wow, to already be getting stuff that's ready to be picked off is pretty awesome, guys. So that's just showing you what we're going to use today. So super fresh ingredients because I just picked these today, and the eggs are fresh from the chicken today. So we'll see how that goes. Okay guys, so before anyone freaks out, yes, I have cleaned this area with Clorox, and I have washed the vegetables very well because you do use the skin in this recipe. Alright, I'm going to try to remember to make a recipe list and all the items that you're going to need to make this, to make it a little bit easier. But first thing you have to do, obviously, is shred up the zucchini. So we're going to cut the ends off. Now, I don't know exactly how much we're going to make. It depends on how much zucchini that we get. You really don't need a lot of zucchini to make this. You're going to be impressed. So this 3 is going to make a lot. Alright, so got a bowl, got a shredder. I'm going to shred a little bit just to see how it goes, and I'm going to stop the video because I don't think you want to watch me do the entire process of shredding zucchini. But however you want to do it. If you have a machine that shreds it up faster, absolutely use that. This is what I have. I'm used to this, so it works good. This is the side that you want, if you have one like mine. Zucchini is soft, so this actually goes pretty fast. Seeds are fine. You do not have to pick them out unless you have a very mature zucchini, which means that you kind of let it overgrow a little bit, because then the seeds are going to be too hard. But this is a young zucchini, so they're going to be very soft. I've never thought about it, but I know pumpkins, people like to roast them in the oven, and I don't know if that's something you could do with zucchini seeds. I didn't know people were into that for pumpkins. I've tried it, it never worked for me. I didn't like it, but that's just something to think about. Of course, if you're majorly into gardening, you'd want to save some of these seeds for your garden next year. Do be careful of them fingers coming up. Alright, I just want to show you what this looks like. If you don't want the seeds, you can cut them out before you start shredding. But this is what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to come back after I get all of them done. Okay, guys, real quick, I just want to show you something. In the next process, we're going to like squeeze this water out. And I want to show you how much water is in here. I was getting ready to cut this one in half and do it. And hopefully this is picking up. Just from cutting the tip. Look at this. This is how much water is inside of this. It's literally oozing with water coming out of here. So this is why one of the important steps is to drain it, because it does have a high water count into it. Okay, everyone, I've gotten the zucchini done, and I'm not sure you can see, but there is a lot of water in here. That's just typical of them. See? So we need to get this water off. Several ways you can do that. I'm going to put it in this strainer, put it over the sink, press it down, and then I'm going to take paper towels and absorb even more of that. So when I get that done, I'll bring it over and we'll look and see what we got. Alright, I have squished and squished and squished the water out, and I didn't think about it until I was squishing the water out. I don't know how frugal some of you may be, but you could save the water off of this and use it in, like, I don't know, you know, like a shake or a protein shake or something, or just whatever. Any other, maybe some other type of cooking that calls for water and you want to have a little bit of extra nutrients in it or something like that. That's an option. I'm not that frugal, but I would do that if I had something, you know, if I'm making a cake that needed water. Why not use the juice off of a zucchini? So even though I really squeezed the heck out of this, I'm still using paper towels to get the water up. And this should be the last one. I think I've got this really good. I'm not saying it can't be moist at all, but you want to get as much excessive water out as you can. Okay. Alright. And I'm just a mess. Let me get us a spoon. We're ready to go. So first thing I need to do, I need to measure how much zucchini I have so I know how much my other ingredients I need. So I have my measuring cup here. This is going to make a lot. See, 3 is already a double recipe. Alright. Alright, it looks like I'm going to almost quadruple my recipe. I think I'm going to try it with 3 and see how well it goes. So I can handle a little extra zucchini in mine. I know this stuff is going everywhere. I keep trying to keep my area as making this into some bread, right? It took a lot of work to get to this point. So the first thing we need to do is maybe get a bigger bowl. I'm not sure my bowl's going to be big enough because that is really filling that up. Oh my goodness. And this one slightly bigger. Let's go to this. Yeah. Okay. we're going to put a lot of flour into this. Okay. So we're going to put 4 cups of flour in here. Actually, we're going to put 6 cups of flour in here. So there's 4. Alright. 6 cups of flour. Salt, 2, 3. We need a tablespoon of salt. We need, oh goodness, I'm trying to do the measurements in my head. For almost 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Alright, we need a tablespoon of nutmeg, 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I'm getting heaping amounts of these things. Okay, a tablespoon of vanilla. Alright, sugar is going to be almost 3 cups. It's going to be about 2.5. Okay. You see how big my bowl needed to be? This is getting crazy. Alright, let's see. We got the vanilla, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, oil. Instead of using oil, I'm going to use unsweetened applesauce. We're going to use 2 of them. Which is about a cup. Okay. Eggs, we're going to need, oh my gosh, a lot of eggs. Let me wash these puppies. Now remember, if you don't use as much zucchini, you're not going to need this much as ingredients go. But we have a lot. Woo-hoo-hoo. I'll lose it. Okay. Success. These are, so that's 2, 3, 4. I think I've seen a shell. Maybe not. No. 4. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. Good thing I have chickens that lay eggs, right? Sometimes you get an overabundance of eggs when you have chickens. So it's kind of good to have a recipe that's going to use them up. I'm just going to do a quick swipe. I didn't see any shells, but I'm just double, triple making sure. And I'm just going to mix them up a little bit in the cup, just so it's easier mixed when we get them in the bowl. So is everybody cringing because I just poured everything in here without mixing it? I know a lot of times it's like a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And this is just how I do it. You can certainly do it the way you want to do it. This is my version. Okay, so I am going to start to get this slightly going here. You know, if you have a mixer or something that you want to use, you can. This is just what I have. And this is just kind of getting the flour down and moist so we can really mix up better. I actually might put maybe another applesauce in here. Now if you don't want to use applesauce, you don't have it, you can use oil. And it would be, oh let's see, 1/4 cup. It would be 1.5 cups of oil so far. If I put in another one, it might be almost 2 cups of oil. Alright, now let's put these in. Now this is just the basic recipe. If you want just zucchini bread, this is it. But we're going to add into it because I like add-ins. I like my food with a lot of stuff in it, if there is a lot of stuff to be had. So we are actually going to add raisins and walnuts to this. You can add carrots. You can add chocolate chips. You know, different kinds of nuts. I'm using walnuts. You know, if you want to use pecans, you can. That's certainly, you know, whatever you have that you want to throw in here. So it's stirring in really good now. Good. I don't see any more flour coming up. The consistency of it looks great. I'm going to actually go ahead and turn my oven on 350. So it's getting warm. So I'm going to add into this. So I'm going to add black walnuts. This may not be available in every area that you're at. These to me are fresh because my mom grew them. I need to get a knife. And then we harvest them in the fall, and then you can put them in the freezer. Now black walnuts, if you've never had them, are stronger in flavor than an English walnut, which is what you buy in the store. I think maybe occasionally you can find black walnuts in the store. To me, they are the absolute best when it comes to baking because they're have so much extra flavor. They do not taste like the walnuts that you buy in the store that are English walnuts. These are stronger. And that's the only way I know how to describe them. I'm used to these. Like, I don't really care for English walnuts. I don't think they have much flavor. They're very bland to me. But these are something that grows around here and everybody's just used to them. You can chop these up however size you want them to be. Of course, if you got a little chopper, this would go a lot better. Now my raisins, I have them sitting in a bowl of warm water, and that just helps plump the raisins up. Which I know that's going to add a little bit of moisture into the bread, but I think they taste better. It makes the raisins more moist and soft. So I think if you're able to do that, especially if you have raisins that's been sitting in the box for a while. Alright, we need 1 more cup. And they get really dried out. They're still usable. Just put them in some warm water for like 5 minutes at least, and they'll plump up. This is just grinding these down a little bit. Now if you don't like nuts, you don't like raisins, you do not have to add them. I'm honest with you, I don't think I would like zucchini bread if it did not have the raisins and the nuts in it. That's just me. Alright, 1 more handful and we'll have it. And I apologize that I don't have these pre-chopped up. You're just going to have to bear with me. Or if you're following this recipe, you're probably appreciating it because you're chopping along. I don't know. The cooking shows that I used to love watching, they didn't pre-prep anything. And I really like them. Those are my favorites. Alright, so we're going to add this in. That was 2 cups of nuts. Alright, and then the raisins I've had soaking. Let me drain them off. Now you could certainly, there again, you could use the liquid that was off of these. You definitely would have some fiber. Alright, so I didn't really measure these when I put them in the bowl. I just finished what I had in the box. And that comes to 1.5 cups, which is kind of skimpy for this amount. You might want to have at least 2 cups. Alright, so put this loveliness in here. And honestly, if I had some carrots, I would shred them up and put them in here too, just because I think it would be a pretty color. Now, if you're not noticing and you've never had it before, zucchini bread is not like a loaf of bread you'd put a sandwich on. No. To me, this is more of a sweet bread. It's more of like a dessert type, muffin type, but it's called zucchini bread. So there we go. Now, what I'm going to do, you can put this in a loaf pan, but I'm going to put them in these muffin tins because then I can pop them out when they've cooled down, put them in a Ziploc bag, and I can put them in the freezer. And then you have these individual ones that you can take out and use versus an entire loaf. I just like the muffins ones. Time-wise, obviously these cook faster because they're not as thick. You know, it's just a lot more of taking them out of the oven, putting them in, and waiting on the next batch versus doing a loaf pan. But a loaf pan's going to take an hour, where these are going to take maybe 10-15 minutes. So, all I'm going to do, I mean, you can use muffin papers, but I'm just going to grease them really good with some shortening. Grease this really good. And you're gonna spoon this, and you know you don't want to have it all the way to the top. You want it about 3/4 full because this is going to rise. All right, so let's spoon this in. And then I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. I know it's rather sloppy business. This one is a little bit fuller than I would want it to be. But, okay. So we're going to pop this in the oven. And I'll let you guys know what it looks like when it comes out. Okay guys, hopefully you can see this. I just got these out. They've only been out for like maybe a minute. We're going to go ahead and pop them out. You can see that they're done. They come out really good. If you need to, you might just need to take a butter knife around the edges. But I think these are like the perfect sizes to give someone. Sorry, I've got flour on the counter. If you can hear the frying in the background, got something else cooking. Now these need to cool down. You can definitely eat them warm if you would like to, but I prefer them cooled down.